So, Brodie Lee recently passed away, and AEW did a very, very good job with their special on Brodie Lee, John Huber in the company. It couldn't have been done better, honestly. But that's not why I'm doing this video. This video is to kind of, do one of these things at AEW, not just for Brodie Lee, but what they're doing for a few other people in the company. Now, it really hit me when Darby Allin said that he wanted to wrestle Brodie Lee, but he's never going to get a chance to, and that made me think of the TNT title situation. AEW, just like the recent episode of Dynamite, they chose to have the Dark Order go over in every single match for obvious reasons. Just like they chose to have Brodie Lee destroy Cody Rhodes, and then as soon as Cody gets a rematch, Cody wins. Like a month later. So they made Brodie Lee a placeholder after completely dominating the dominant champion. The way it's supposed to go, the way we're supposed to buy this situation, is if, number one, the champion was weak at the time, injured some way, weak at the time, and the other one, and then he comes back there, he's at full strength and yada yada, overcomes the obstacles. We get that part. The other thing is there, if the champion wasn't 100% and got destroyed, the champion needs to go through some sort of training, some sort of like soul searching or whatever to actually beat someone who completely massacred him. You didn't see John Cena get a rematch against Brock Lesnar that time when he completely destroyed him at that SummerSlam, right? You didn't see any rematches after that point, did you? Or would anybody want to see that? So they made Cody look like he was like he just arrogant, like he was just like giving him the belt just to hold it warm for him. And they made Brodie Lee, they made the dominant thing null and void because they put the belt right back on Cody as soon as they got a chance to. They showed like a commercial for the Big Show, like I think it was like a week later. Like, oh, so that's what Cody's doing. I mean, it was so disrespectful to the Brodie Lee run to have a commercial for the guy that he got that he beat up, and then like we can audibly put the two and two together, saying like, oh, that's why he beat him up, so he can go film that show. And then he was back from filming that show. He wins the belt back. Placeholder champion. Kind of like Randy Orton was at Hell in a Cell. He was a placeholder to get a shock pop, to get the championship reign number up a little bit there, and then he loses it right back to Drew McIntyre, paper champion. And this goes into Lance Archer. Lance Archer at NJPW, he was part of Suzuki-gun. He was a really dominant guy in that group, really dominant guy in that faction. And he showcased it a lot, especially in the G1 this year. And what is AEW doing with Lance Archer? What are they fucking doing with Brian Cage? What are they doing with Jake Hager? Warlord is showing off. Luchasaurus is showing off well. A majority of their big men in AEW, they're not showing what they fully can do. It's okay if you don't do it week to week. That's fine. But, I mean, it's been for fucking crying out loud long until we've seen anything cool from Lance, from Brian Cage, from Jake Hager, from, like, hardly any of the big men there. They're just beating people up there or just talking or whatever in the background. And Brodie Lee was one of those guys. Brodie Lee was the leader of the Dark Order. He bullied the people around, that's fine. But the character never got a chance to shine like you want him to. It was, I thought it was like the most disrespectful thing in the most disrespectful thing in the world to have Lance Archer and Brodie Lee. One of their first matches was fighting against Marco Stunt, the smallest guy in the roster, like smaller than Rey Mysterio Jr. ever was. So their big thing to hype up these big men as like you gotta like must sees is to fight against the smallest, tiniest person in the entire company, smaller than any woman ever is in that company. I think Riho is bigger than fucking Marco Stunt. So the first showcase is up against what? A giant versus, that was their big plan? And then they did like bullying stuff there week after week, the squash matches stuff there, WWE style or whatever. And then randomly you get a match. And then like, okay, cool. Why isn't Brian Cage doing what Brian Cage does best? He can suplex like a motherfucker. He can fight the ropes like a motherfucker. He's a really good wrestler. Powerhouse Hobbs is showcasing well, but for some reason they're not showcasing Brian Cage. I don't get it. So when it comes to the legacy of Brodie Lee in AEW, his legacy will be tied and linked to Cody Rhodes because of the TNT Championship. So I don't really get why they didn't utilize him to his maximum potential. But it was great for a while. It was great. So yeah, do you guys think they used Brodie Lee to his absolute fullest? Let me know in the comments below. Clack off.